U.S. visa policy, improved bilateral relations top discussion as Information Minister meets United States Ambassador.
We had engagements with Ambassador Mills, and what he has told me that this is in no way punitive.
Federal government strengthens Ogoni cleanup to align with global standards as Minister of Environment inaugurates projects.
This project belongs to you. It's not for Hyper, it's not the federal government, it is for this community.
Also on the news, NERC transforms regulatory oversight to 12 states, paving way for decentralized electricity markets.
We know the problem they are facing, so this time is not going to be a business as usual. The distribution company, the generation company must do the right thing.
Good evening. You're welcome to the Network News on NTA. I'm Lami Ali. Tonight on the lineup is updates from Lagos with Hingino John Adams. Business news is with Benny. So Benny, tell us, what's the color of the market today?
Well, for the first time in a very long while, the market traded red. Well, it is an advantage for new investors. For existing investors, it's not all smiles. We'll give you details in the course of the bulletin.
And of course, Bade Adeleye will lead us into the world of sports. So Benny, what do you have for us?
Well, not the best of news after CAF released the latest list of clubs on the continent, with Nigerian clubs missing in the top 20.
You can follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now on X, and other social media handles displayed on the screen. So, in line with the renewed hope agenda, President Bola Tinubu has approved a series of measures aimed at enhancing the welfare of the defined benefit scheme pensioners. This is in response to the Executive Secretary of Pension Transitional Arrangements Directorate to Lope Odunoya's request for an emergency budgetary allocation to implement key pension reforms and welfare benefits. The approved measure is for the immediate implementation of additional budgetary allocation for the full implementation of the new pension rate, adoption of the proposed pension harmonization policy for the defined benefit scheme pensioners, provision of health insurance for all DBS pensioners under the 2026 pension budget, and inclusion of the balance of inherited unfunded pension liabilities owed to NITIL and MTIL pensioners and accrued pension arrears of other parastatals in the 2026 budget proposal. The United States of America's ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr., reaffirms America's continued commitment to respect and value the relationship between the U.S. and Nigeria. At a joint media briefing in Abuja, the U.S. ambassador and the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said a new America visa policy is not to deny Nigerians traveling to the U.S. Here is Abdullahi Gwanara with the details.
The United States of America and Nigeria are both enjoying several decades of bilateral relationship with shared prosperity in socio-economic and human capital development among its citizens. Barely 200 days in office of U.S. President Donald Trump, his latest administrative policies on prospective Nigerian travelers to the U.S. have been generating mixed reactions. Here, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, and the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr., assured that the new visa policies are not designed to deny Nigerians entry into the U.S., but to enhance service delivery while sustaining the existing strong relationship between both countries.
We had engagements with Ambassador Mills, and what he has told me that this is in no way punitive. Is just to enhance service delivery between the two countries. These are not new measures. Everyone knows that when you want to visit any country, it is your duty to ensure compliance with their laws. I mean, when someone comes into Nigeria, we expect that person to also comply with our laws here. So what I want to say here is that Nigerians must continue to demonstrate better sense of patriotism about their country.
We encourage all applicants to provide truthful information and abide by the terms of their visas, as I know the great majority of Nigerians do. By doing that, we are going to strengthen the bonds between our countries, and we will ensure that opportunities for travel, business, and cultural exchange remain available to all of us.
This is a shared commitment to update Nigeria's potential travelers to the U.S. of the new order and guarantee their safety in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Now, in other news, the Minister of Environment, bilateral, has inaugurated some projects across Ogoni communities to improve the socio-economic life of the people. The projects, which demonstrate federal government's commitment to implementing the Ogoni Bill of Rights, are under the purview of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPRIP. Robinson Deritaide reports.
The last few years, Ogoni people of Rivers State have attracted the attention of the federal government, especially in remediating the oil-polluted soil and other ongoing infrastructure to improve the economy and well-being of the people. Minister of Environment Balarabe Lawal inaugurated water facilities in Bodo, Eteo and Bowe, connecting 40 communities in 3 local government areas to potable water. The minister also inaugurated IPREP area office in Gokana.
We must on this project because this project belongs to you. It's not for HYPREP, it's not the federal government, it is for this community. So they must come out strongly and protect and prevent them from being vandalized by miscreants.
All we are asking is that the government of this country should continue to support HYPREP, because there are lots to be done, and as Ogoni people at all points in time will support every effort of government.
Management of HYPREP says the agency in a soil remediation effort has completed and obtained close-out certification for 50 lots in simple risk sites, while the remediation of contaminated groundwater is at 38%, shoreline cleanup is at 37%, and mangrove restoration is at 93% completion.
We have reached the point of simultaneous implementation of UNED's key recommended actions, including environmental remediation, livelihood restoration, provision of potable water, and public health interventions, all working together to transform Ogoni holistically.
The minister also inspected the Center of Environmental Restoration, which is almost ready for inauguration. From Ogoni, River State, Robinson Derataide, NTA News.
Dangerous products not only compromise treatment outcomes, but also erode public trust in health institutions. This the federal government vows to prevent in Nigeria. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Al-Pati, stressed this as the inauguration of the federal and state task forces on counterfeit, fake drugs and unwholesome processed foods. Haman Jabani reports.
The inauguration of these task forces is seen as part of a broader reform aimed at achieving universal health coverage and ensuring the integrity of the nation's public health supply chains. It also aligns with the current administration's health sector renewal investment plan, which prioritizes quality, accountability, and stronger health system governance. The initiative is believed to represent a commitment to tackling the long-standing menace of substandard and falsified products that has endangered the lives of millions of Nigerians,
which is a crucial step in our collective effort to confront a pervasive and growing threat. This is very much in line with the renewed hope aspirations that our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR laid out, that Nigeria can be a peaceful, prosperous, and people-oriented country. NAFDAC is one of those regulators that we've been working with the DG and all of you and the board of NAFDAC to strengthen the regulatory capacity of NAFDAC.
Empowered by the provisions of CAP C34 bill, is a testament to our collective resolve. It is a recognition that the fight against these illicit products requires a coordinated, multi-sectoral approach, one that is swift, decisive, and relentless.
In coming weeks and months, the task forces are to intensify efforts towards rollout of public awareness campaigns, leveraging on innovation and technology to checkmate those who seek to undermine health and safety standards of the country. With this initiative, the federal government is sending a clear message. The health and safety of Nigerians will not be left to chance. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has called for synergy between federal government and sub-nationals as the sector is evolving with reforms to decentralize the electricity market. This is coming as NERC granted approval to 12 states to regulate their electricity market. Joshua Ojitu reports.
The Electricity Act 2023 empowers sub-nationals to regulate their electricity market in order to generate, transmit and distribute within their jurisdiction, which 12 states have so far been granted approval. However, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission says there is need for coordination to ensure seamless transition.
The industry at this material time and the need to navigate the ongoing reform of transferring the oversight to the state and ensure that we achieve the much expected growth in the industry, and we look forward for all the initiatives you will be bringing on board for improvement in the power sector.
As the acting chairman of the commission takes over responsibility of the regulatory agency, his eyes are on the industry players to deliver adequate electricity.
We know the problem they are facing. So this time is not going to be a business as usual. The distribution company, the generation company must do the right thing.
The Electricity Act 2023 mandates the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to maintain its central role of regulation of national and international electricity markets. Joshua Ojitu, NTA News.
To demonstrate transparency and accountability, the West African Examinations Council has taken full responsibility for delays and other issues affecting the 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results. Adejoke Odeka reports that candidates that sat for the 2025 examination have been asked to recheck their results following correction of identified anomalies.
Students who sat for the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, WAEC, can now breathe a sigh of relief as the head of National Office of the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, says they have successfully resolved the technical issues that affected the grading of their serialized papers.
Some discrepancies were discovered in the grading of the serialized papers. The Council, being accountable, transparent and credible organization, further investigated all the serialized papers. Discovered that the serialized code file was wrongly used in the printing of English language objective test, which was paper 3, which resulted in them being scored with wrong keys.
The council says it has released the 2025 WAEC results with 89.55% of candidates' results fully processed, while 10.45% are pending due to unresolved issues. The results show that 62.96% of candidates obtained credits in at least 5 subjects, including English and mathematics, representing a 9.16% decrease from 2024.
205,916 candidates, representing 10.45%, have one or more of their subjects still being processed due to some issues to be resolved. Efforts are, however, being made to speedily complete the processes to enhance the release of the affected candidates' results. This will take place in a few days.
The Council's management acknowledges the embarrassment and emotional distress caused by anomalies that candidates experienced. The examination body takes full responsibility and has assured those affected as well as stakeholders that it is working diligently to rectify the situation and implement measures to prevent such occurrences in the future. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
We take a break now to bring you some messages. More stories in just a moment. Do stay. Thank you for staying. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has issued a public health advisory warning of a potential chikungunya outbreak in the country. This comes amid a global surge in cases, with over 240 cases and 90 deaths reported across at least 16 countries this year. Notably, China has recorded nearly 5,000 cases since early July 2025. While Nigeria has not yet reported any confirmed chikungunya case this year, the NCDC states that the country's current environmental conditions, particularly in states affected by floods and other high-risk areas, are ideal for an outbreak. Chikungunya is a viral disease spread by some species of mosquitoes, which are active during the day, especially in the early morning and late afternoon. Symptoms typically include a sudden onset of fever, severe joint pain, muscle pain, headache, and fatigue. In response, the NCDC is strengthening its vector surveillance and control efforts, collaborating with health workers and state governments to quickly identify and respond to suspected cases. The NCDC is urging Nigerians to take proactive steps to protect themselves and their families by using insecticide-treated mosquito nets, wearing protective clothing such as long-sleeved shirts and pants, applying mosquito repellents, and eliminating standing water around homes, which serve as a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Now, the federal government is ramping up non-kinetic strategies in its fight against violent extremism, with focus on agriculture and livelihood empowerment. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa was at the venue of the engagement involving local and foreign partners.
At this high-level donor and stakeholders meeting held at the National Counterterrorism Center in Abuja, government officials and development partners assessed progress on implementation of Memorandum of Understanding between the Center and the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture
of Nigeria.
The National Counterterrorism Center reaffirmed the government's commitment to a whole-of-government and a whole-of-society approach in combating terrorism.
We recognize that sustainable peace and security cannot be achieved through kinetic response alone. Non-kinetic strategies, particularly those that empower individuals and restore livelihoods, are essential to building lasting peace and preventing the resurgence of extremist ideologies.
The Sahel Hub at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture is of the view the Seeds of Hope project will serve as a catalyst for reconciliation and economic revival.
The NCTC IT Seed for Hope initiative that brought us today was born out of a shared recognition that peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but the presence of opportunity, dignity, sustainable livelihood. To support conflict-affected communities in rebuilding their lives with sustainable agriculture.
The program is a critical component of non-kinetic approach to tackling insecurity. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Strategic Management and Policy course is not just an academic exercise. It is a vital investment in Nigeria's stability, fostering a new generation of military and paramilitary leaders who are ready to safeguard the nation with wisdom, integrity, and strategic foresight. That was the message of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluede, to the Strategic Management and Policy Studies Course 7 at the Nigerian Army Resource Center.
The course is an intensive program designed to equip military and paramilitary personnel with analytical leadership and operational tools required to respond effectively in a dynamic security environment. Through case studies, simulations and expert lectures, participants gained a deeper understanding of national security dynamics, leadership ethics, crisis management, and the importance of joint operations.
Thus, as strategic leaders and members of the top echelon of your services and agencies, you must possess the requisite knowledge and analytical skills necessary to orchestrate the instruments of national power into this dynamic operating environment.
For example, for the first time, the Air Force had also joined up, which shows at least there's something we're doing right, and people are acknowledging that yes, it's being done well. Then WAEC had continued to maintain their number. DIA had continued to maintain the number. DSS had continued to maintain the number. Meaning, yes, we are doing something. But can it be better? The answer is yes.
They have been given the necessary tools in terms of strategic management and policy. And I'm very sure when they return to their respective agencies, they will be better able to craft not just policies, but also strategies to tackle the problems that will confront them.
Ultimately, the Nigerian Army Resource Center's initiative underscores the crucial role of continuous education and strategic capacity building in national defense. As threats grow more sophisticated, so must the defenders of peace. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetekun, receives a delegation from the United Nations Regional Center for Peace and Disarmament in Africa and the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons from the Office of the National Security Advisor as the force headquarters in Abuja. The high-level meeting focuses on strengthening interagency collaboration to curb the proliferation of illicit small arms and light weapons in Nigeria. The UN delegation commends the Nigeria Police Force for proactive measures in tackling arms proliferation, particularly in high-risk areas where criminal networks rely on illegal weaponry to fuel insecurity. They stressed the need for coordinated intelligence, robust tracking systems, and sustained disarmament programs to address threats to internal security. Egbetekun expresses appreciation for the continued support of the international community and the Office of the National Security Advisor. He describes the flow of illicit weapons as a serious threat to public safety and national security and assures that the force will not relent in stemming the tide. He discloses that the police force recovered thousands of arms and rounds of ammunition in recent operations and pledges to strengthen partnerships with local and international stakeholders to dismantle criminal networks involved in arms smuggling. As former First Lady Aisha Buhari undergoes Ida, a mandatory waiting period of mourning in Islam, she has continued to draw strength and support from Nigerian women. This show of solidarity again played out when Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu led wives of federal legislators to the Kaduna residence of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari to show support. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo was there.
The First Lady and her entourage, comprising wife of the Vice President Nana Shetima, spouses of federal legislators, and some members of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum, arrived at the residence of late former President Muhammadu Buhari to share another solemn moment with his widow, Aisha. While the period of 7 days national mourning for the late former president is over for most Nigerians, it is not so for his widow, Aisha, who is still undergoing Ida, a waiting period of 4 months and 10 days. From the First Lady and other members of our delegation came words of comfort, recounting the impact of the late former president, followed by special prayers for strength and comfort for the family.
He was a great leader. He really leaded with devotion, compassion, humility.
I remember him leading us on various visits, official visits around the world. His kindness, his humility, and how he led the Nigerian contingent at every point was very admirable.
The gesture met with gratitude from the family.
Honestly, the family is overwhelmed with the love and prayers
and the constant visits. Some people have come from very far away. Sometimes we wonder how they need it.
The first lady had paid a similar visit to the Daura home of the late national leader on July 19, leading a delegation made up of governors and ministers' wives, as well as spouses of service chiefs. From Kaduna, Adeni Itaiwu, NTA News.
To politics now. The presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, in the 2023 elections, Dumebi Kachukwu, insists that the party has no national chairman. Kachukwu told Newsman Friday that the party should, as a matter of urgency, organize a national convention to elect officials that will run its affairs. Correspondent Linda Okuri-Igwe's report is here presented.
The push and shove over the leadership of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, does not look like it is going away anytime soon. The presidential candidate of the party in the 2023 general elections, Kachukwu, says the party has been without a national chairman for the past 2 years. He insists that anyone parading himself as one is doing so illegally.
I now present evidence to you today. I have here before you terms of settlement entered as judgment in the Court of Appeal of Nigeria, holding at Port Harcourt, with appeal number CA-PH 225-2023, between the ADC, Chief Rafunsu, Engineer Eddie Lawrence as appellants, and some of the ADC state chairmen as respondents. What is the fraud, you may ask? To use the ADC, they needed to free it of all legal encumbrances, such as those challenging Rafunsu's fraudulent claim to the chairmanship of the party. And so, they forged signatures of some of the chairmen who were not interested in the sale of the party and presented it to the court as terms of settlement, which the Court of Appeal adopted as judgment.
He alleged that the infiltration of some individuals into the party without due process, in line with internal democratic processes of the party, has led to the current confusion and mixed messages emanating from the party.
We all watched almost 2 months ago the comedic performance of Rafunsu as he anointed David Mark as chairman of the ADC, and at the same time presented him with a membership card of our party. Rafunsu had no legal mandate to anoint or appoint a chairman for our party.
Kachukwu stated that he remains a member of the party, called on members to unite against external forces working to hijack the party.
Hingino in Lagos is up now with latest developments from the Center of Excellence. It's over to you, Hingino.
Thank you, Lam, and welcome to Lagos. Efforts to ease pressure on Forex through implementation of tax rebates by the federal government for manufacturing companies that use local raw materials in their production process will create job opportunities and achieve the much-needed value addition. Joel Pupola reports that industry experts believe this move will achieve a major economic leap.
A bulk of the raw materials manufacturers in Nigeria use for their production is imported, leading to job transfer. While no fewer than 32 raw materials in Nigeria are in commercial quantity, experts say the nation is not maximizing the full potential of these resources due to its exportation in raw form without value addition. This narrative is what the Raw Material Research and Development Council is changing, with a bill to that effect now at advanced stage in the National Assembly, and the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji, believes is a smart move.
Any product that is produced in this country at commercial level, importation will be banned automatically. And we have insisted that for any product to be exported, there must be 30% beneficiation, value addition.
Director General Raw Materials Research and Development Council says the prospect of the raw materials sector is becoming brighter with value addition in sight.
Nigeria's industrialization is supposed to hinge on 80% utilization of local resources. The Raw Materials Research and Development Council now has the full mandate to implement the guidelines for rebates, for tax incentives to manufacturers that utilize local raw materials in their production processes.
Establishment of industrial clusters that will connect industries with raw materials and investment in cutting-edge technology to reduce cost of production, stakeholders agreed is important. In Lagos, Joel Bukbuola, NTA News.
Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals has commenced the first phase receipt of 4,000 compressed natural gas-powered trucks, an integral part of its ambitious fuel distribution logistics program set to start operation on August 15, 2025. Diana Ajale, who witnessed the official loadout of the first barge at the Apapa Tinkan port, reports.
Seeing, they say, is believing. Right here at the nation's largest seaport in Apapa are these new arrivals from China. They are part of the 4,000 Dangote CNG trucks. Coming into the country in barges, the CNG trucks were driven in a convoy to Dangote Refinery at the Lekki Free Trade Zone, where they would be put to judicious use after the former unveiling. A laudable initiative by Aliko Dangote, the CNG trucks are part of efforts aimed at transforming the nation's fuel distribution landscape. The vehicles will also reduce logistics costs and enhancing supply efficiency for customers while promoting environmentally friendly conditions. Importation of the vehicles through the Apapa ports represents a significant capital investment estimated at 720 billion naira and underscores the company's commitment to pioneering innovative solutions as the world's largest single-train refinery continues to expand its operational capabilities. These first consignment of CNG trucks have been formally received at the refinery site in Ibejileki by the Vice President of Oil and Gas, Dangote Industries Limited, Devakuma Edwin. The innovative distribution is expected to catalyze efficiency gains across Nigeria's downstream petroleum sector, fostering greater transparency, reduce transportation bottlenecks, and ultimately enhance Nigeria's energy. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Benny Adams will continue with business news after the break.
You're still on to the largest TV network in Africa, and it's that time we talk business. I'll start by telling you that the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, that is the NEPC, has announced a 19.59% increase in non-oil exports, reaching $3.225 billion in the first half of 2025 compared to $2.696 billion in the same period in 2024. The Executive Director NEPC, Noye Ayeni, attributed this growth to increased global demand for Nigerian commodities and the benefits of the FCFTA, as well as the Council's intervention programs on quality, packaging and market access. A total of 236 different products were exported, a 16.83% rise, with cocoa and its derivatives leading the chart, accounting for more than 41% of total exports. The Council also highlighted increased exports to Africa, including $83.5 million worth of goods to 21 non-ECOWAS African countries.
Cocoa and its derivatives topped Nigerian non-oil exports in the first half of 2025, accounting for 41.11% of total export value, due largely to rising global demand, higher prices, and increased local processing capacity. Thus, the export of value-added products such as cocoa butter, liquor, cake reflects Nigeria's progress in exporting value-added products.
Now, the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority, that is NEBZA, has stepped in to resolve the dispute between the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Abuja Technology Village. a license-free trade zone over the potential revocation of the zone's land title. Dr. Olufemi Ogunyemi, the managing director of NEBSA, urged Abuja Technology Village operators and investors to withdraw the lawsuit filed against the FCT administration immediately to facilitate a roundtable negotiation. Dr. Ogunyemi delivered the charge during a courtesy visit to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, on Thursday in Abuja. You'll recall that the ATV operators responded to the revocation notice issued by the FCT administration with a lawsuit. Dr. Ogunyemi stated that the continued support for the growth of the free trade zone scheme would benefit the nation's economy and the FCT's development, emphasizing that the FCT administration recognized the scheme's potential to accelerate industrialization. Ogunyemi is delighted by the steps taken by the FCT minister to expand the economic frontier of the FCT through the proposed Abuja City Walk project. Ogunyemi further explained that the authority was preparing to assess all the 63 licensed free trade zones across the country with the view to vetting their functionality and contributions to the nation's foreign direct investment and export drives. Take a look at the market. At this time, the Nigerian equities market ended the trading week on a negative note, snapping over a month of winning streak as the all-share index declined by 0.56%, closing at 145,754.91 basis points, down from 146,570.71 basis points on Thursday. Today's data shows 12% improvement in volume, 20% improvement in turnover, and on the aggregate, 125 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 42 gainers and 30 losers. That is it on a business at this time.
Thank you, Benny, for the markets updates. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu warmly felicitates with the governor of Kebbi State, Dr. Muhammad Nasir Idris, on his 60th birthday. In a statement, President Tinubu acknowledges the governor's purposeful leadership, vision and tireless efforts in driving socio-economic transformation in Kebbi State while fostering peace, unity and progress among the people. The president also notes the governor's distinguished career in labor leadership, particularly his contributions to the growth of the education sector and advocacy for workers' welfare, as he prays for continued good health and strength to sustain the delivery of good governance to his people. And the National Working Committee of the Governing All Progressives Congress, APC, has described the attainments of its national chairman, Professor Nentawe Irada, to the age of 57 as a remarkable feat, owing to his extraordinary contributions in both academics and administration. In a statement by the National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, he says Nentawe is clocking 57 years. He is praying that God will give him the strength, and he hopes that he will continue to guide him with wisdom, divine health, wealth, expertise in ICT and governance on the party leadership for unity, peace, strength and prosperity. Also, the Borno State Governor and Chairman of Northeast Governors Forum, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, has felicitated with the national chairman on his 57th birthday, describing him as a unifying factor for whose track record speak volumes and will greatly assist in propelling the party to greatness in all its bid to serve Nigerians better. Meanwhile, the Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Suli has also celebrated with the national chairman at a warm and surprise ceremony organized by the National Secretariat to honor its leader, and prayed God to bless his new age and grant him the strength to move the party to enviable heights. We pause now to bring you some more messages. Do stay tuned for sports and more news. And now we go to Bade for the sports update.
Many thanks, Lami. Let's begin with football. As ahead of the draws for the preliminary round of the 2025-2026 CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup, the continent's football ruling body has released the latest club rankings, with Nigeria's top clubs missing from the top 20. The rankings, based on the 5-year performance index, placed Rivers United FC in 24th position and Eyimba in 35th. No other Nigerian club features in the top 50. Rivers United, ranked highest among Nigerian clubs, are also listed at the second best in West Africa. Eyimba, Nigeria's most successful club on the continent, historically remains further down the list, despite previous achievements in the CAF Champions League. Now, Nigeria's home-based Super Eagles are intensifying training ahead of Tuesday's second group game against Sudan at the 2024 African Nations Championship, CHAN. The Eric Charlie-led side lost their first game by lone goal on Tuesday to Senegal, following a defensive error in the closing stages of the game. Currently fourth in Group D, Nigeria stands a chance of qualifying with positive results in the games against Sudan and Congo, and Charlie has called for more focus from his boys, tasking them to bounce back in the next game. To volleyball now, where the Nigeria Volleyball Federation has continued to get commendations for the successful hosting of the 2025 CAVB Under-18 and Under-19 Championships at the Jabi Lake in Abuja. The week-long event, which featured 13 countries and 16 teams, saw Nigeria claim gold and silver in the girls category, while finishing third and fourth in the boys category. 4 Nigerian teams made up of 2 girls teams and 2 boys teams qualified for the World Championship in Qatar after making it to the last 4.
I must commend our own president of Nigerian Volleyball Federation, Engineer Musa Nimrod, who is also the CAVB African Beach president, for bringing this tournament to Nigeria. And we can say this wonderful venue for us to host this championship is so beautiful, and it's been quite interesting.
Finally, Nigeria's senior men's basketball team, the Tigers, lost 65-68 to their Guinean opponents in their last preparatory game ahead of the 2025 AfroBasket Championship in Angola. The Tigers had on Thursday defeated same team 78-73, but Friday's game took a different turn after a series of unforced errors, missed chances and failure to convert free throws. The team is expected to depart for Angola this weekend as they fight to rule Africa again. That's it on sports. Let's now return to Lami.
Thank you, Buddy. Now, Nigerians have been urged to be committed to the growth and development of the country. The Diocesan Bishop of Ibadan North Anglican Diocese, Most Reverend William Salade, gave the charge as the burial service for the 43rd Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Olabi Olakulehin, held as the Cathedral Church of St. Peter's in Ibadan. Kendi Omolosho reports.
In his sermon, the Diocesan Bishop of Ibadan North Anglican Diocese, Most Reverend Williams Aladikugbe, described Oba Olakulehin as a man of faith, custodian of culture, dedicated to God's work. The late monarch in his submission served the country and ruled Ibadan land peacefully with distinction and legacies.
During his reign, he ensured that all residents within his domain enjoy very peaceful coexistence. Ibadan land and environs similarly witnessed unprecedented development.
Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, who led other top government functionaries as well as notable sons and daughters of Ibadan land to the funeral service, described the late Olubadan as a man of peace and unifier. Then followed the interment of Oba Olabi Olakulehin. Family, friends, and associates gathered at the reception in honor of Oba Olakulehin. The late monarch will be missed for his fatherly role, advice, and motivation.
He's a man that is very compassionate. He has a listening ear.
He was a very caring father, not to the kids alone, but to extended family and to Ibadan at large.
I will miss his very care, his affection.
He doesn't look down on anybody, and it's a blessing that Ibadan land was fortunate to have him.
The 43rd Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Olabi Olakulehin, joined his ancestors on July 7, 2 days after his 90th birthday. Kendi Omolosho, NT News.
And that does it on the news for tonight. We thank you for being a part of it. Do have a good weekend. I'm Lami Ali.